Preliminary 6, this Sunday, 10th July, from 6 to 7 p.m. This week's featured contestants are Runil Ramkisoon from Suriname, Shalina Juliana Mohammed from Trinidad, Rakesh Pulmol from the USA, Stefan Jaikaran from Trinidad, Owina Prasad from Guyana, Sono Dubey from Trinidad, Ravina Sharma from the USA, Shalana Rambaran from Trinidad, and Terrell Maharaj from Trinidad. Sangeet Pradarshan, right here on Sankhya Television.
Sangeet Pradarshan.
Om Shri Maha Ganapataye Namaha. This is Pandit Lakshmidat Prasad Maharaj extending to you a very special invitation to join us in Tirat 2022, a morning of prayer, puja, devotions and special offerings on Sunday, July 24th, 2022 from 9 a.m. to 12 noon at the Manmohan Singh Park in Cedras. Bhagwan Suryanarayan Swami Puja commences first, followed by Graha Shanti Homa, concluding at noon with offerings of grains, coins and flowers into the sacred ocean. Come and join with us in a morning of worship and devotions. Wear something white. Wear your mask. Stay safe always. For further information, you can see us on Facebook at Pandit Lakshmidat Prasad Maharaj, or you can send us a message on 316-3000. Jai Shri Ram.
प्रेम से बोल गजानन स्वामी की जय। आदि शक्ति जगदम्बा देवी माता की जय। श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय। श्री वृंदावन विहारी लाल की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। My devotees, all look around Jai, let us all stand as we join together in Archie. Hare Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. Om Yani Gani Chapapani Janmadara Gradani Cha Dani Dani Vina Shanti Pradakshamam Pari Arati Shri Ramayan Ji Ki Kirti Kali Talalita Siya Pinki Arati Shri Ramayan Jivi Kirti Kali Talalita Siya Pinki Arati Shri Ramayan Jivi Kirti Kali Talalita Siya Pinki Arati Shri Ramayan Jivi Kirti Kali Talalita Siya Pinki गावत ब्रह्मादिक वाल्मीकि आरती श्री रामायण जी की तीरथ तललित सिद्धि सुख सनकारी शेष और वरनी भवन सुख की आरती श्री रामायण जी की तीरथ तललित सिद्धि संदत गावत शंभु भवानी अर्गत शंभव आरती श्री रामायण जी की तीरथ तललित सिद्धि चारों वीर प्राण शरस चारों शस्त्र सब ब्रह्मगण आरती श्री रामायण जी की तीरथ तललित सिद्धि आरती श्री रामायण जी की तीरथ तललित रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीता आरती श्री रामायण जी की तीरथ तललित सिद्धि आरती श्री रामायण जी की Hare Hari Om, 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 Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om. Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nagendra Haraya Trilochanaya, Tasmandayaya Maheshwaraya, Nityaya Shadhaya Digambaraya, Tasmai Nakaraya Namah Shivaya. Karpura Gauram, Karunavataram, Sansara Saram, Bhujagendra Haram, Saravasandram, Hridayaravinda, Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय, श्री रामचंद्र की जय. Please take your seats, my dear devotees. So, my dear friends, firstly, allow me to take this opportunity and say to each and every one of you, Sabkoi Sita Ram, and thank you all so very, very much for being here. A very special Sita Ram to, of course, my Pitaji, Pandit Ajay Rambally Baba. Thank you for performing puja in such a efficient and proficient manner. Of course, a very special welcome to the members of my group, the Drava Shakti Kirtan Mandali, a group of individuals, very young, very dynamic, very talented. Thank you all so very much for being here. Special welcome to, of course, KV Song Company. Where would we be without them? I have no idea. So Davayu and Kavir, thank you very, very much. And of course, a most special Sitaram and a most special welcome to Sankhya Television, one of the #1 stations when it comes to promoting, enlightening and increasing awareness of Hinduism locally and internationally. So of course, Rameshji and Shirley Devi, I say Bhagwan's blessing to you. To all the viewers that are listening via Sankhya Television, viewing via their Facebook, their YouTube, and of course viewing via my Facebook page, I say to all of you, Sitaram. My dear friends, our Katha tonight is very, very simple, very beautiful, and very much easy to understand. And it speaks about one of the greatest feelings you and I can experience once we are alive on this earth? What is one of the greatest feelings you and I can experience once we're alive on this earth? Think about it. And while you think about it, right where you are, I ask each and every one of you to put your hands together. Close your beautiful eyes and bow your hands. And as your eyes are closed and your hands are bowed, I ask you to meditate upon the divine form of the Devis and the Devtas. And while you meditate upon them, I ask you to focus upon the sound of my voice. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachate taraham bhaktya upaharatam Ishnami prayatatmanaha. It is said, if you offer a leaf, fruit, flower, even a drop of water, if you do it with love and devotion, Bhagwan will always accept it. Tonight, wherever you are, wherever you may be, I ask you to offer your love and offer your devotion to Bhagwan. Why? Because you may never get this opportunity again. Today we are here, and tomorrow we may be gone. Therefore, every moment we have, treasure it. Every moment we have, cherish it. Every second we have on this earth, appreciate it. It is said, waking up this morning was not a guarantee. It was a privilege. It was a gift. Breathing is not a guarantee. It's a gift. It's a privilege. Don't take it for granted. Every moment you can give thanks. Every moment you can show appreciation. Show it. Wherever you are, wherever you may be, I ask you to chant with me as we glorify in the name of the Devis and the Devtas. Hari Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabham Nirviganam Kuru me Deva Sarvakare Shiv Sarvadam Saraswati Namastubhayam Varareka Marupani Viraya Ramham Karishyam Sirahi Bhavatu Misadam Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guru Ve Namaha Siddhi Bharahi Prade Devi Bhakti Mukti Gradayani Mandra Murti Sada Devi Mahalakshmi Namostute Karpura Gauram Karunavataram Sansara Saram Bhujagendraharam Sarav vasandham rerayarvind bhavam bhavani sahitam namami. Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jai Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jai Jaya Rama. As we clap, as we sing, we glorify. Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jai Jaya Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. As we say to Prabhu Shri Ram, Ramaya Ramabhadraya, Ramachandraya Vedasa, Raghunataya Nataya, Sita and Rama, or on the Shrataya with me, Sita Varadhanaya, Tanno Rama Chorya. Tonight, we meditate our minds upon Hanumanji, as we create that vibration, that Shakti, that energy, as we say to him, Shri Guru Charana Sarojaraja, Nijamana Mukara Sudar, Varana Raghavara Vimalayashi, Jodaya Kabalachan, Bodhayena Tanujanike, Sumiro Pavana Kumar, Balavadha Vidya, Dehamuhi, Harahu Kalesha Vikar. As we clap, as we sing, we glorify. Together. Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jai Hanuman Jnana Gun Sagar, Jai Kapish Tihu Lok Ujagar, Ram Dut Atulit Pad Dama, Anjani Putra Pavan Sut Nama, Mahavir Vikram Bajrangi, Tumari Var Sumati Ke Sangi, Kanchana Varana Viraj Subesha, Kanana Kunbala Kunjita Kesha, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama,
सजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए, रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत सम भाई। जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम। सहस बदन तुम रोज गावे, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे, सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीशा, नारद सारद सहि सहीश। जम कुबेर दिगपाल चहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते, तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना, राम मिलाए राजपद दीना। जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम,
जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम,
श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम। तुम्हारे मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना, युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु, लियो ताहि मधुर पर जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मिले मुख माहि, जलधि लागे गए अचरज नाहि, दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे देते। जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम,
जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम।
राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे, सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आपे, दीनहु लोक हाथ के कापे, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम,
जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम।
नाय से रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंजन हनुमत बीरा, संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन प्रण वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम,
जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम।
चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा, हे पर सिंह जगत उजियारा, साई संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलावे। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम,
जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम,
जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम,
श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम।
तुम्हारे वचन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे, अंत काल रघुपति पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चिंता धरनी, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करे, संकट ते मीटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलवीरा। जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम,
जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम।
जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो सदबार पाठ करी होई छूटे बंदे महासुख होई चोया बहे हनुमान चालीसा होय सेहि साथे गौरीसा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा कीजे ना तेरे देवा
Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Bolo, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram,
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram,
Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram.
Pavanataya Sangat Haran Mangala Muratiru Ramalagana Sita Sahita Riraya Basa Surabhu Prem Savan Shri Ramachandra Ki Jai Pavanaputra Hanuman Ki Jai. Beautiful. So, my dear devotees, have you all figured out the answer to the question? Let me remind you of the question. What is one of the greatest feelings you and I can experience once we are alive on this earth? Anybody want to take a guess? What is one of the greatest feelings we can experience once we have life in this body? To love and to be loved. I'll say that again. One of the greatest feelings we can experience is to love and to be loved. My dear devotees, it is said love is like the wind. You can't see it, but you feel it. And it is said, when a person can have love in their heart, when a person can have love in their mind, when a person can have love in their actions, love in their words, every single thing falls into place for them. When a person can have a life that is based on love, when a person can do things based on love, when a person can speak based on love, it is said everything that is good will eventually fall into their life. And I'll break it down very, very simple for the little children to understand. There was this young child, maybe about 9 years old. He came home from school one day with his mother. And when he opened the car door, he noticed that across the road from his home, he saw 3 elderly gentlemen sitting on a bench. And they looked very weak, very fragile, very frail, very hungry, very thirsty. And he looked at his mother and he said, "Mama, can we invite them to come and have something to eat, something to drink?" The mother said, "Sure." So they went across the road and they said, "Would you like to come over by us and have something to eat?" And one of the gentlemen, he looked at the little boy and he said, "Son, is Papa home? Is your father home?" He said, "He is on his way." The man said, "When your father comes home, then come and tell us and we'll come." So the little boy and his mother, they went back home and they started to prepare something very simple for the 3 gentlemen to partake of. And when the father came home, they went across back and they said, "Come, have something with us." And one of the gentlemen got up and he looked at the little boy and he said, "Son, do you know my name?" The little boy looked at him and he said, "No, I don't know your name." The man looked at him and he said, "Son, my name is love. This person here, his name is wealth. And this other person, his name is success. Son, you can only have one of us into your home. Only one of us will enter your home and partake of your meals. Whichever one of us you choose, your home will be blessed." Do you want love in your home? Do you want wealth in your home? Do you want success in your home? And the little boy, he looked at his mother and father. And the mother and father, a little confused, they looked at each other. And the mother said, let us invite wealth into our home so that we're always wealthy, we always have money to survive. The father said, no, let us invite success into our home so that everything we do breeds success. Every adventure, every footstep we take, it will be successful. And the little boy said, no, let's not invite wealth, let's not invite success, but let's invite love. Let's invite love into our home so that our home will always be filled with love. No matter what happens, our family will always be filled with love. So the mother and father, they said, okay, no problem. So the little boy, he looked at a gentleman called Love and he said, Papa, Love, we would like you to come into our home. And you know something? The moment the gentleman named Love got up and he entered the home of that little child, guess what happened? Success and wealth got up and followed him. The moment Love entered the home, success and wealth followed him. And the little boy was very confused. He said, I thought only one of you can come. How come the three of you are coming? And the gentleman named Love looked at him and he said, son, because you welcome love into your home, because you welcome love into your life, success and wealth came with it. The older ones may think I'm speaking nonsense, but the little ones, there's a deep moral behind it. In simple terms, when you welcome love into your heart, or when you welcome love into your home, success will come. When you welcome love into your home, wealth will come. When you welcome love into your home, happiness will come. When you welcome love into your home, greatness will find its way to you. How many people in the world today, they neglect love. They close the door to love and they open the door to wealth. They close the door to love and they open the door to success. How many people in the world today, they abandon the love for their child. They abandon the love for their dullaha, dullahin, and they welcome success, they welcome wealth. How many people, they don't study to love one another, but they study the wealth that they want to acquire. How many people forget to love each other, but they study the success they want in their life? It is said only when you welcome love into your heart, only when you welcome love into your home, love into your life, success and wealth and happiness and everything will fall into place. Children, devotees, I want you to remember one thing. If you don't remember anything else I will read tonight, remember this. No matter where you end up in life, no matter what you become in life, always welcome love into your home. Always welcome love into the lives of your family, into the life of you as an individual. And when you can welcome love, everything else will follow. The greatest feeling we can experience in this world today is to love and to be loved. And our Katha tonight, very simple. It speaks about Prabhu Shri Ram and Sita Ma meeting each other, seeing each other for the first time, and the love that blossomed, the love that grew. As we enter our scriptures, we glorify Baba Saba Baga Bhakti Jab Sare Shri Ram ke charan mein मन जब लागा बाबा सब बागा भक्ति जब सारा
श्री राम के चरणों में मन जब लागा पाप सब भागा भक्ति जब सारा श्री राम के चरणों में मन जब लागा पाप सब भागा भक्ति जब सारा श्री राम के चरणों में मन जब लागा पाप सब भागा भक्ति जब सारा श्री राम के चरणों में मन जब लागा जब से राम संजय हमें संजय ते हमें संजय ते हमें प्रेम बहाई में साज हम सब भागा भक्ति जब सारा श्री राम के चरणों में मन जब लागा राम चित्र कोई कोई जाने कोई जाने कोई जाने वाल्मीकि तुलसी पहचाने तुलसी पहचाने तुलसी पहचाने करुणा से वरना की है बहु कागा करुणा से वरना की है बहु कागा श्री राम के चरणों में मन जब लागा
बोलो
पाप सब भागा भक्ति जब सारा श्री राम के चरणों में मन जब लागा राम कथा पावन गंगा है पवन गंगा है पवन गंगा है घट मनोहर सत्संगा है सत्संगा है सत्संगा है भूले गए हम नारी का रागा भूले गए हम नारी का रागा श्री राम के चरणों में मन जब लागा पाँव सब भागा भक्ति जब सारा श्री राम के चरणों में मन जब लागा पाँव सब भागा भक्ति जब सारा श्री राम के चरणों में मन जब लागा पाँव सब भागा भक्ति जब सारा श्री राम के चरणों में मन जब लागा श्री राम के चरणों में मन जब लागा श्री राम के चरणों में मन जब लागा
Shri Ramachandra ki Jai. It is said, when Prabhu Shri Ram and Lakshman were with Vishwamindra, there was one day in particular where the sun started to rise one beautiful morning. And on that beautiful morning, it is when Prabhu Shri Ram and Lakshman, they woke up. They took their bath and they went to Vishwamindra, took his blessings, and they went and they started to perform puja, started to perform worship, started to offer their devotion. And having performed their puja, having done their worship, having done their devotion, it is that both Prabhu Shri Ram and Lakshman, they decided that they would take a little adventure through the beautiful city of Mithila, and in particular through the garden, the royal garden, the most beautiful garden. And it is said, Prabhu Shri Ram and Lakshman roaming that garden, picking flowers, picking leaves. It is said at that very moment in time, Sita Devi was also in that garden, surrounded by her friends. And all of them together, Sita Devi and her friends, they were journeying towards the beautiful Devi Mandir to perform puja. And while she was heading towards that mandir, Shri Ram and Lakshman, they were picking flowers. None of them knew each other was present at that moment in time. Shri Ram and Lakshman busy picking their flowers and speaking among themselves. Sita Devi and her friends heading in the direction, walking through that garden, heading towards that Devi Mandir. And Sita Devi, my dear devotee, she arrived at that temple to pray. Anybody want to take a guess what she went to pray for? She went to pray, my dear devotees, for L-O-V-E. She went to pray in that beautiful Devi Mandir for love. She went to pray to Devi Ma to find a companion, to find someone that was worthy of her. Someone who she can build a foundation with, someone who she can start a life with. And you know something, my dear devotees? At some point in time, in every one of our lives, we will arrive to a day where we want to settle down. We will arrive to a point in time where we want to forget about the hustle and the chaos, and we want to find someone who we can love, find someone who we can grow old with. Isn't that so? Boys? Vern? At some point in time, you want to settle down. And Sita Devi, my dear devotee, she was at that point in her life where she wanted to find a love, wanted to find a companion, wanted to find someone who she can spend the rest of her life with. And my dear devotees, I want to ask you something. When you and I arrived at that point where we want to find someone to settle with, when you and I want to have arrived at that point where we want to start a foundation with someone, have a relation with someone, have a union with someone, it is said that relation must have certain ingredients in it. That foundation must be built with certain items. Anybody want to take a guess? What is one of the most important items in building a relationship? Trust. Kya baat, Jai Shri Ram. Excellent. Trust, my dear devotees, is one of the most important components in any relationship, in starting any relationship. Trusting your partner. And how many people in the world today, they trust their significant other? How many people in the world today, they trust their significant other with their secrets? They trust their significant other with their success. They trust their significant other with their ups and their downs. They trust their significant other with their vulnerabilities, with their weaknesses, with their problems, with their disadvantages, with their disabilities. How many couples in the world today, they trust one another? How many young boys and girls in the world today, when they are now starting their relationship, they trust each other? And they have full faith in one another that they won't do the wrong things or they won't stray along the wrong pathway. Very few. Very few. It is said one of the key components to any relationship is to have trust. What is another key component? It starts with the letter R. Take a guess. Those of you that in love. Why? Respect. You see that word called respect? It is said respect is one of the key components of any relationship. It is one of the key ingredients of any relationship. How many significant others in the world today, they respect their loved ones? It is said when the relationship is new and the relationship is fresh, oh gosh, there's so much respect. The words of the dulaha, the words of the boyfriend is filled with so much love, only respect. His actions are respectful, his deeds are respectful, the way he thinks is respectful. But as that relationship grows old, sometimes that respect disappears. And sometimes their actions become disrespectful, their words become disrespectful. And sometimes that disrespectful life that they are living privately comes out publicly. How many couples in the world today, they have trust in their relationship, they have respect in their relationship. And there's one more key ingredient. Anybody want to take a guess what it is? Respect, trust, but there's one more in particular that I'm looking for. Starts with letter C. Communication. You see that word called communication? It is a key aspect of all relationships. If you cannot communicate with one another, that is problems. How many couples in the world today, they bundle up their anger, they bundle up their problems, they bundle up their ailments, they bundle up their difficulties. And when an argument comes, everything comes out in the open. And then they realize that no one ever communicated with each other. No one ever took a moment to speak to one another. It is said no matter what stage of your relationship you are, communicate with one another. Tell each other your secrets. Tell each other your problems. Tell each other how your day went. Don't keep it inside here. And it is said, my dear friends, when a relationship can have communication, when a relationship can have respect, when a relationship can have trust, and there are many other qualities, that relationship is a healthy relationship. But the moment that relationship lacks communication, the moment that relationship lacks trust and lacks respect, that relationship is nothing more than a toxic, unhealthy relationship. And Sita Mata, she was praying for a relationship that was healthy. She was praying for a love that was healthy, a love that would be based on trust, a love where there would be respect, a love where there would be communication. And it is said, my dear devotees, while she was praying for that love, while she was praying for that companion, one of her friends wandered off from the temple, and she was, searching around that garden. And while she was looking around that garden, Sita Devi and some of the friends remained. And this friend searching, looking around, wandering around, you know who she saw? She saw Prabhu Shri Ram and she saw Lakshman. And when she saw Prabhu Shri Ram and Lakshman, it is said she was mesmerized. She immediately ran straight back to that mandir to tell Sita Ma, to tell the other girls that she has just seen the two princes of Ayodhya, the two sons of Maharaj Dashrath. Running back to that temple, they see her glowing, they see her beaming with excitement. They ask her, what happened? What did you see? Who did you see? And she started to explain to them, she saw Prabhu Shri Ram, she saw Lakshman, two brothers, one dark in color, one fair. And the moment they heard, everybody left that temple and they went to see with their own eyes these two brothers. Sita Ma, following her friend, she's searching all around. Her eyes is going from place to place just in case she spots them before. The friend continues to lead them in that direction, and they're searching for Shri Ram. They're searching for where they saw them. Sita Ma, her eyes going all over, but she didn't see them. And while walking in that garden, my dear devotees, while searching that garden, it is said Prabhu Shri Ram and Lakshman, they're continuing to pick their flowers. And while picking their flowers, it is said Prabhu Shri Ram started to hear the sound of bangles in the distance. He started to hear the sound of anklets and bells in the distance. And he stopped picking the flowers. He stopped picking the flowers and he paused and he listened to where that sound was coming from. And when he looked through the plants and he looked through the trees, in the distance, he saw the beautiful Sita Devi. And the moment his eyes fell upon Sita Devi, it is said he stood there speechless. He stood there lost, love at first sight. He stood there completely mesmerized by her beauty, mesmerized by just the sound of her anklets, the sound of her bangles. And Prabhu Shri Ram, seeing Sita Devi, she has not seen him yet. The other girls have not seen them yet. He just looks at her beauty, and all he can think about is this Devi adds charm to charm itself. This Devi adds beauty to beauty itself. It is that his eyes couldn't even close, just glued to Sita Ma. And it is said suddenly her friends spotted them, and they pointed, and when they pointed Sita Devi, her eyes fell upon Shri Ram. And when her eyes fell upon Shri Ram, she herself became mesmerized. She herself was in awe of his beauty. He was radiating, he was glowing in the distance. She herself became speechless, her eyes glued to him. And you know what she did? Anybody want to take a guess what she did? She looked at him from head to toe. From toe to head. Just glued to him, mesmerized by him. It is said when her friends saw how bewildered and how in awe Sita Devi was, they started to smile, they started to laugh. And one of her friends said, Sita, it is getting late, we cannot delay, we cannot stay too long, let us go home, let us go back by Ma, let us go back to the Mandir area, and we will come back tomorrow and maybe we'll see them again, maybe we'll get a glimpse of them again. And Sita Ma, she agreed. And you know what she did? Continuing to stare at Prabhu Shri Ram in the distance, she closed her eyes. And when she closed her eyes, she envisioned him in her mind. And the moment she pictured him in her mind, she trapped it in the heart and she locked it right there. She locked the image of Shri Ram in her mind, the image of Shri Ram in her heart. Her entire body, there was a thrill running through it. It is said, listening to her friends, she turned and she started to walk back to the Mandir area, back to her home. And you know what she did? As she was walking, Randy, every couple of seconds, she turned and she took a peek. She turned and she glanced at him, take a little glimpse at him, and she smiled. And she continued to walk. It is that Prabhu Shri Ram looking at Lakshman, he explains to Lakshman that is the princess, the daughter of Janak. She's the one that the Swayambar, the breaking of the bow ceremony, is being held for tomorrow. And Prabhu Sri Rama and Lakshman just stood there in amazement, in awe, in admiration. Sita Devi, my dear devotees, together with her friends, she goes back to that mandir, to that Devi, and she begins to pray again. This time, you all know what she prayed for? She didn't pray for love now. In her mind, she found love. She was now about to pray to get that love to be hers. Listen to what takes place. Hari Om. Chum chum chananana baje maya paave janiya. Maya Paumbe Janiya Durga Mata ki Jai. It is said she went back to that mandir and she started to pray to Durga Ma, asking Durga Ma and telling Durga Ma to fulfill that dream of her, to fulfill that wish of hers. She told Durga Ma, oh Durga Ma, you are the consort of Shiv Baba, you are the consort of this entire world itself, you are the protector of this entire world, you are the mother of Kartikeya, you are the mother of Ganesh Baba. Please fulfill this wish, this desire. And it is said, my dear devotees, the love of Sita Ma was so much that Devi Ma blessed her. And she said, your wish will be fulfilled, your desire will be fulfilled. And it is said, the mala from around that murti fell to Sita Devi. Sita Devi taking that mala, hearing the words of the mother, she felt overjoyed, she felt happy, she felt excited. Now let me pause here and let me ask you something. Sita Devi, wanting to get Shri Ram, she went to pray. And she believed that through devotion and through prayer, she would achieve what it is she wanted to achieve. My dear devotees, you and I can learn something very valuable from that. Every single one of us, we have something we want to achieve. Not only love, we don't only want to get the girl, we don't only want to get the boy. Sometimes we want to get the happiness, sometimes we want to get the job, sometimes we want to get the good grades in the exam. And whatever your goal may be, you have to take the necessary steps to acquire it. For Sita Devi, she wanted Shri Ram, and the necessary steps to get Shri Ram was through devotion. You and I, we have goals, we have aims, we have ambitions, and in order to get what we want, we have to take the necessary steps. You cannot sit at home and expect everything to show up at your front door. Life does not work like that. And sometimes we tend to forget that. Sometimes we tend to forget that we have to come out and actually do things in order to achieve what we want. Actually do things to reach where we want to reach. We forget that. And I'll break it down very simple. If a child wants to pass the exam, he has 1 week to study, and in that 1 week he doesn't pick up the book. Will that child pass that exam? No. Because the child made no effort to study. If you are looking for a job, if you're unemployed and you want a job, what do? Do you sit at home and wait for a company to call you? No, you send out your resumes and hopefully someone sees and calls. If you want to learn to play an instrument, what do you need to do? Do you just go online and look and see how to play the guitar? Well, first you have to buy a guitar. You have to go out there and purchase the guitar. And you have to follow along with what they are doing. Whatever it is you want to achieve, whatever it is you want to do, you have to take the necessary steps to achieve it. Opportunities, my dear devotees, don't always come knocking. And I always use this saying, if opportunity does not knock, build your own door of opportunity. Write that down if you have to. When opportunity does not come, my dear devotees, sometimes you need to build your own door of opportunity. Sometimes you need to stand up on your own and do things for your own good. Do things for your own future. And the world is getting worse by the moment. People are becoming more and more selfish by the minute. Not everyone has the genuine quality of love in them. Not everyone will help. Sometimes you have to do it on your own 2 feet. And Sita Devi is showing you and I, in order to get her goal, which is Shri Ram, she took the necessary steps, which was devotion. I ask you tonight, what are you doing? What are you doing to get your goal? What are you doing to achieve what you want to achieve? I tell you something, if you don't remember anything else I've said before or will say again, go out there and work for what you want. Go out there and work as hard as you can for what you want. Hustle, my dear devotees, like if you have no money in the world. Work so hard that no one can question your success. Go out there and do what you need to do. And Sita Mata, my dear devotees, getting the blessings of the Devi, taking that mala, she goes back to her home. Prabhu Shri Ram and Lakshman, all they are thinking about was the beauty of Sita Devi, the beauty of her friend. Shri Ram just mesmerized by the beauty of Sita Ma. Wherever he looked, all he thought about was Sita Devi. You know, boys, when you fall in love, when you see somebody you love, everywhere you look, you think about them. Anything you see, you think about them. If you're driving any road, you think about them. If you're playing a nice little Indian song, oh gosh, Jai Shri Ram, you imagine you singing the Indian song. If you're watching a movie, well, oh boy, you believe you and she in the movie, or she and boy and girl, girl, boy, whatever it matters, it doesn't know. That is how it is, my dear devotees. When you're in love, suddenly everything looks different, everything changes. And this is how Sri Ram was feeling. Whatever he did, wherever he went, everything he was thinking about was Sita Ma. Everything he saw was Sita Ma. It is said when he went to lay in the ground to sleep, he looking up at the skies, he saw the moon and he started to compare the beauty of the moon to Sita, and he said, no, the moon cannot compare to her beauty. He looked at the stars and he said, no, the stars cannot compare to her beauty. Everything he did, he thought about her. And it is said, my dear devotees, when he woke up that next morning, listen to what took place.
Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Janak dinaya tinha aati sun nahi, har si boli liye do bai bala.
Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Rama Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Shri Ramachandra ki Jai. It is said, my dear friends, the next morning when Prabhu Shri Ram and Lakshman woke up, going to Vishwamitra, taking their blessings, he looks at Prabhu Shri Ram, he looks at Lakshman, and he said, get ready, organize yourself. Raja Janak has sent his messengers to invite us to the Swayambar, the breaking of the bow that is happening today. And the moment Shri Ram heard the words of sage Vishwamitra, he was overjoyed. He was filled with excitement. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. Together with Lakshman, they organized themselves, my dear devotees, and they took footsteps towards the palace of Janak, towards the home of Sita Ma, towards where that ceremony was taking place. My dear friends, sometimes in life, what is meant for you, you know what, will always find its way to you. Remember that. In this life that we live in, sometimes what is meant for you will always find its way to you. And Prabhu Shri Ram, all he was doing was thinking about Sita Ma. All he was doing is becoming mesmerized and filled with admiration and adoration for Sita Ma, only to wake up the morning after and hear news that he has been invited to the ceremony. My dear friends, remember this. If something is meant for you, it will find its way. It will always find its way. Sometimes we live in a world where we become little impatient, where we look at the success of others and we become little envious of their success. No, their success is their success. Let them enjoy it. Your success will come. There's enough sunlight for everybody. There's enough sunshine for everybody. There's enough success for everybody. And Sri Ram and Lakshman, my dear devotees, together with Vishwamindra, they began to go in the direction of that Swayambar. Together, it is said, as they were walking, the news broke. And when the news broke that Sri Ram and Lakshman, they were coming, so many individuals in that city of Mithila, they were filled with joy. So many individuals, they came out to take a glance, to take a glimpse of Sri Ram and Lakshman. It is said, when they arrived at that kingdom, something very, very important took place. And what took place there is what takes place in your life, your life, your life, and my life. Anybody know what took place when Sri Ram and Lakshman arrived at that Swayambar? When they arrived there were so many people. There were kings, there were princes, there were soldiers, there were ministers, there were messengers, there were Rakshasas disguised as princes, as kings. There were so many people. And the moment Sri Ram arrived there, something happened. Every single person there, they saw Sri Ram based on what they had in their mind. They saw Sri Ram based on what they were going through in their life. They saw Sri Ram based on the kind of individual they were. And that's a very important point. Listen very carefully. When Sri Ram and Lakshman arrived there, it is said, the kings who were filled with so much arrogance and pride, they saw Sri Ram in a very scary, very fierce form. It is said the Rakshasas that were disguised as kings, they saw Sri Ram like if he was death himself. The warriors, those men that fought war, they saw Sri Ram like a hero. The people that were wise, filled with knowledge, like the Brahmins, the Sadhus, the sages, they saw Sri Ram in his cosmic form with multiple hands, his different faces. And it is said the devotees, the bhaktas, the followers, they saw Sri Ram and Lakshman as embodiments of humility and humanity. So depending on who you were, that is how you saw the Lord. And devotees, this will sound very, very harsh, but it is the truth. Sometimes depending on what he says about someone, that is how you see them. Sometimes what she tells you about someone, that is how you see them. Sometimes what you hear on the outside about someone, that is how you interpret them. Sometimes you don't know a person, you have never met a person, you have never spoken to a person, but because of what you are going through in your own life, that is how you see them. So the Rakshasas, they saw Sri Ram as death himself. The kings that were evil and arrogant, they saw Sri Ram in a very fierce form. But those that had love in their heart, they saw Sri Ram like love himself. Those who had knowledge, they saw Sri Ram as God himself. And in your life and in my life, everybody has their own interpretation of you. Some of it is good, some of it is bad. And no matter how good you are, Vern, no matter how good you are, Vi, you are always the enemy in somebody's story. You are always the villain in somebody's life. No matter who you are, no matter how good you are, there's always someone out there who dislikes every single pore on your body. It is the reality of life. So many people, based on what they are going through, that is how they see people. Now if anybody is confused, let me simplify it for you. Look at it like this. Let us say you have a job, you are working, and this person, they don't like you. They really, really don't like you. And they start to do things to get you fired. They go to the boss and they complain and they complain and they complain, trying to get you fired. But the boss doesn't fire you. And now, when the boss doesn't fire you, when the boss isn't listening to them, they become a little scared that maybe if the boss tells them what they were doing, maybe you will also try to go and get them fired. So because they were trying to get you fired, they think now that maybe you have the same mentality like them and you will also try to get them fired. That is what I mean by when you have a negative mindset or you're going through something, you see people the same way. Devotees, not everybody is like you. Just because you will go to the ends of the earth to get someone fired, doesn't mean that same exact person will go to the ends of the earth to get you fired. Just because you ask someone for a favor, or someone asks you for a favor, and you request that one day to come they have to repay you, doesn't mean it will work vice versa. Sometimes you can ask that same person for a favor and they ask nothing of you. And sometimes in the world we live in today, what we are going through, what we are facing, we think everybody is like that. And I will continue to use the example. Sometimes if you go in a function and you are facing some sort of battle and the lecturer says something, or the teacher says something, or the speaker says something that offends you, the speaker don't know you there. The person who is speaking don't know what you're going through. Don't assume that they know what you are going through. Don't assume that they are throwing it for you. You are just facing your own battle and it happened to fall in your garden. We live in a world, in the today world that we live in. Sometimes everybody believes every post on Facebook is about them. Every word the speaker says is about them. Every status on WhatsApp is about them. No. People have their life to live. You live your life. Stop worrying about who likes you, who doesn't like you. Stop worrying about what he says, what she says. Live your own life. And all of the kings and all of the Rakshasas there, because of the kind of people they were, because of how evil-minded they were, they saw Sri Ram in the scariest of forms. They saw Sri Ram in the most negative of forms, the fiercest of forms. My lesson to all of you, my dear devotees, and if you don't remember anything, remember this one. Don't judge people. Just because you are going through something, or you would go the length and breadth to hurt someone, doesn't mean that same person will do the same thing to you. Just because you will try to get someone fired, doesn't mean that same person will try to get you fired. Just because you want someone to return a favor to you, doesn't mean that they want you to return the same favor to them. Sometimes people just do things out of the goodness of their heart. Their life does not revolve around you. What they say, they don't know what is happening in your life. Keep in your own lane. Focus on yourself and don't focus on what they are doing. Sri Ram entering into that swayam, but every single person saw him depending on who they were and what they were experiencing. It is said some of them became so frightened, some of them became so scared, they left immediately. Some of them became so arrogant, they decided that they would show off to Sri Ram and they would show how great they were. And some of them became disenchanted immediately and they said it doesn't make sense. We try to lift that bow. Once Sri Ram is here, he will succeed. He will get Sita Devi. He will lift that bow. It is said, my dear devotees, as Prabhu Sri Ram, he entered into that Swayambar with Lakshman and Vishramindra. They sat. All eyes were on them. Raja Janak was overjoyed to see them. And as the time came, Sita Ma and her friends entered into that arena. And the moment Sita Ma entered into that arena, you know what was the first thing she did? She looked at every single person. She started to search for every single person. And searching, she was only looking for Sri Ram. She was only looking to get a glimpse of Sri Ram, looking to see Sri Ram. And lo and behold, in the distance, she sees him. It is said the moment she sees him, she feels a sense of happiness. She feels a sense of joy. She feels a sense of calmness. And feeling this sense of calmness, it is said Raja Janak, he tells his messengers to announce the vow, announce the purpose. Everyone is here. Listen to what takes place. Hari Om Jai Ram Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Vala Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Vala Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Ram Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Ram रावण भानु महाभद्र बारे देखी सरान सार गावा हो हिमसेराने बोलो
जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
जय राम
श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय जय राम जय जय राम
Shri Ramachandra ki Jai. It is said, Raja Janak, his ministers, they announce that whoever can lift the bow of Shiv Baba, they will be fortunate to marry Sita Devi. They will be renowned and known in all the three worlds. They will gain the name and the fame and the wealth and the success. And it said the moment everyone understood what they were gaining when they lifted that bow, it is said many of the kings, one by one, puffed with pride, puffed with arrogance, they got up and they went up to that bow. And you know what they did when they saw the bow? In a very angry manner, they grabbed it and tried to lift. In a very hasty manner, they grabbed it and tried to lift. And you know something? No one could have lifted it. One by one they all came, and one by one with anger and with arrogance and with pride, with the intention to show off, they tried to lift that bow and they couldn't lift it. No matter how much they tried, no matter how much energy and effort they put, they couldn't lift it. It is said they started to come up in pairs and teams, and eventually every single one there they came trying to lift that bow and they couldn't. It is said Raja Janak, he became so angry, he became so upset, he felt so offended. He looked at everyone and he started to quarrel, he started to insult them. He said, how can you all not lift this bow? You all are strong, you all are fearless, you all have fought so many battles, you all rule. Where's your strength? Don't any one of you want to marry my daughter? Doesn't any one of you want to have your name renowned in the three lokas? Have name, fame, wealth and happiness? And he became very, very angry. Lakshman, hearing how Raja Janak started to insult everybody, he himself started to become angry and he wanted to speak, but Shri Ram told him no. And Vishramindra, my dear devotees, he looked at Lakshman, he looked at Shri Ram, he looked at that bow, he looked at Janak, he looked at everyone, and he knew exactly what to do. He looked at Shri Ram and he said, Prabhu, you go and you lift that bow. And you know what was the first thing Shri Ram did when he stood up? Somebody take a guess. He bowed to the feet of Vishramindra. What did everybody else do? They got up. They went to that bow angrily. What did Shri Ram do? He got up and he bowed. Respect. Respect. Sita Devi immediately saw that, mesmerized more. Prabhu Shri Ram, taking the blessings of Vishramindra, he now goes in the direction of that bow. It is said every single person there, some filled with anger and envy towards him, the devotees filled with love and joy, cannot wait to see the Lord approach that bow. Listen to what takes place as we are coming to the end of our katha tonight. Hare Jai Ram Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama
Jai Ram Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Ram Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Jai Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jai Jai Rama.
My dear devotees, Prabhu Shri Ram paying respects to sage Vishramindra. He goes in the direction of that bow. Raja Janak looking at him, Sita Ma and all her friends looking at him, the entire Swayambar mesmerized by the beauty of the Lord, some celebrating him, some hoping that he doesn't lift it, some praising him, some criticizing him. Prabhu Shri Ram, he goes up to that bow, and while he is walking, Sita Ma, she looks at him and she starts to feel very nervous, she starts to feel very anxious. And you know what she did? She closed her eyes and she immediately prayed to Shiv Baba. She said, "Oh Shiv Baba, you are the one who bestows the blessings upon all your devotees. Bless me with the ability to have Shri Ram. Bless us so that that bow becomes light like a feather. Bless us so that when he places his hand on that bow, he is able to lift it." She meditates her mind on Girija, Bhavani, Parvati Ma. She says, "Oh Ma, my time has come. Bless Shri Ram so that he has the strength to lift that bow. Oh Ganesh Baba, you are the one that everyone worships. You are the one that removes the obstacles. Remove any blockages in his pathway. Remove any difficulties in his pathway." And this was the prayer of Sita Ma. It is said, my dear devotees, when love is in your heart, when love is in your mind, you will do whatever it takes for that person you love. You will go the extra mile for that person you love. And Sita Ma, she was putting all her devotion, she was putting all her faith, all her prayer. So much was her love for Shri Ram that she was praying for him. I ask you tonight, my dear devotees, when difficulties are in your pathway, when troubles are in your pathway, how many of your friends, how many of your loved ones, they pray for you to come out of your darkness? Or how many people, they pray so that you continue to live in darkness. They pray so that you continue to get trouble, you continue to feel pain. It is said Sita Ma, she did not want to see Shri Ram unable to lift that bow. So much was her love, she meditated her mind. Listen to what takes place. Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Raghupati Raghav Raja Rama, Bharita Pavan Sita Rama, Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jai Jai Rama. Our devotees, as Sita Ma, she continues to pray. It is said her mother had a lot of doubt in her mind, but her companions removed that doubt. Prabhu Shri Ram took a glimpse at Sita Ma and he saw the anxiousness, the nervousness on her face. He looks at the faces of everyone. He goes up to that bow, bowing his head to that bow. It is said he looks at that bow, and the moment the eyes of Shri Ram fell upon that bow, it is said Lakshman Bhaiya, every single hair on his body raised. It is said all of the devotees, they started to pray for the success of Shri Ram. Prabhu Shri Ram looking at that bow, my dear devotees, it is said he started to pray. And the moment he started to pray, Sita Ma, she continued to look at him. Every single person there, their eyes were on him. Prabhu Shri Ram looking at that bow, paying his respects, he places his hand on that bow. It is said the moment the hand of the Lord was placed on that bow, the earth started to tremble with fear. And the moment the earth trembled with fear, it is said he lifted that bow. The moment the bow was lifted, the heavens, they burst open. The devtas started to shower flowers. The songs of musical instruments started to be played. As we clap, as we sing, we glorify. Everybody! Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, 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 Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Bolo Shri Ramachandra ki. It is said, Prabhu Shri Ram lifting that bow, he broke it into pieces. The moment he broke that bow, it is said the sound that that bow made echoed through the entire of Patal, echoed through the entire earth, echoed through into the heavenly abode. It is said the waters of the ocean began to roar the moment that bow was broken. Tears started to flow from the eyes of Sita. Celebrations in the entire kingdom of Janak began. Everybody started to glorify the name of Shri Ram. It is said all of those that were envious of him, they had no words. They had no words. Sita Ma, with tears from her eyes, overjoyed, she goes up to Prabhu Shri Ram and she places that mala upon his neck. Prem se bolo Shri Ramachandra ki, Umapari Mahadev ki, Raja Ramachandra ki. And the moment she placed that mala upon his neck, my dear devotees, it is said she got that wish. Her desire was fulfilled. My dear friends, love is one of the greatest feelings in this world. To love and to be loved. And this is what Sri Ram and Sita Ma had. They loved each other and they felt love for each other. They celebrated the love for one another. And it shows us, my dear friends, that when you have love in your heart, love in your life, everything that needs to fall in place will fall in place. When you have love in your heart and love in your life, the world and the universe will bend for you. My dear friends, I hope with this simple message this afternoon, this evening, I hope you were able to understand. I hope you were able to learn something, take back something, share it with someone around you. But I want to leave you with one thing. I leave you with love. Have love in your heart, love in your mind, and may your entire life, once it is filled with love, have wealth, have happiness, have peace, have success. Prem se bolo Shri Ramachandra ki Jai. So as Baba gets set to do the Havan, I pass to have a beautiful bhajan by Priya Devi. And then from that bhajan, we go into our arti. And then we have a beautiful bhajan by Vayu.
जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री रामचंद्र कृपारु भज मन हरन भव वैरारुणम नव कंज लोचन कंज मुकुकर कंज पर कंजारुणम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम कंदर्प अगणित अमित जविनव नील नीरल सुंदरम पद पीत पानहु तदित रुचि सुचि नौमि जनक सुतावरम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम भजु दीन बंधु दिनेश धानव जय वंश निकंदनम रघुनंद आनंद कंद कौशल चंद दशरथ नंदनम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम सिर मुकुट कुंडल तिलक चारु धारु अङ्गविभूषणम् अजनभुज शरण चपधर सङ्ग्रमजितकरदूषणं जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम इति वरते तुलसीदास शङ्कर शेष मुनि मञ्जरञ्जन मम हृदय कंज निवास कुरु कामरी कलदल गञ्जन नमो जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम मानुज ही रचयु मिल बारो सहज सुंदर संवारो करुण दिधान सुजानो सीलो सनिहु जन रवारो जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम अहि बंदे गौरिया शिष सुनिसिया सहित ही हर्ष आली तुलसी भवान नहीं पूजे पुनी मुंद मंदित मंदिर चलियो जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्रीराम जय राम श्रीराम जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम
प्रेम से बोलो श्री रामचंद्र की जय. Beautiful. So आप लोग कराओ जाए. Let us all join together in our closing arti. Hari Om Yani Gani Japapani Janmatara Gradani Cha Rani Rani Vinashanti Pradakshamam Bare Bare Arati Shri Ramayan Ji Ki Kirati Kali Dala Lita Siya Bigi Bala Arati Shri Ramayan Ji Ki Kirati Kali Dala Lita Siya Bigi Bala Arati Shri Ramayan Ji Ki Kirati Kali Dala Lita Siya Bigi Bala Arati Shri Ramayan Ji Ki Kirati Kali Dala Lita Siya Bigi Kavat Brahmadika Manadara Valmiki Jnana Visadara Arati Shri Ramayan Ji Ki Kirati Kali Dala Lita Siya Bigi सुगसनकारी शेष और शारद वरणी पवन सुत तीरथ नेगी बोलो आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलिता ललित सिय पीकी चारों वेद पुराण अक्षरश चारों सहस्र सब ग्रंथन कोरस आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलिता ललित सिय पीकी रघुपति राघव राजा पतित पावन सीता राम बोलो आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलिता ललित सिय पीकी बोलो आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलिता ललित सिय पीकी बोलो आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलिता ललित सिय पीकी गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रैलोचनाय भस्माङ्गरागाय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुराय दिगम्बराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्रीराम श्रीराम जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्रीराम श्रीराम जय राम श्रीराम जय जय राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम 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 हरे हरे. Let us all put hands together, close our beautiful eyes, bow hands. As we have come to the end of our first night of our 3 nights yajna, we ask if we have made any mistakes knowingly, unknowingly. We ask for forgiveness, guidance, and blessing. Hari Om. Om mantrahinam kriyahinam bhaktahinam janardanam yar pujatam maya deva paripuranam tarastame Shiva Hare Shiva Ramasa ke Prabhu Trivirata Parivarana He Vibhu Ajajaneshara Yadrava Pahimam Shiva Hare Vijayam Koro Mevaram Pratidinam Kushalam Jaya Mangalam Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Bandhu Chasaka Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Om Shanti 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 Hare Om प्रेम से बोलो गणेश भगवान की जय, शंकर भगवान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय। टगरा प्रेम से बोलो श्री रामचंद्र की, प्रेम से बोलो हनुमान स्वामी की, प्रेम से बोलो उमापति महादेव की, प्रेम से बोलो श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। Turn to those next to you and greet each other. Sita Ram. My dear devotees, again I must say to each and every one of you, thank you all so very much for being here. To of course my Peter Ji Panakimraji, to Vernon, may Bhagwan bless you, to Sankhya Television and all the sponsors, to Vayu, Randi, Kavir, Kyle, Priyadevi, Mataji. My dear devotees, until tomorrow, I say to each and every one of you, Sabkoi Sita Ram.
Shri Guru Charana Sarojar Ja निज मन मुकुर सुरात वरनो रघुवर विमल यश जोदायक पलचार बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। O Jai Bajrangi Bali Hanuman, bless me with strength, Baba, bless me with Gyan. Jai Bajrangi, Jai Bajrangi, Jai Bajrangi Bali Hanuman, bless me with strength, Baba, bless me with Gyan. Jai Bajrangi Bali Hanuman, bless me with strength, Baba, bless me with Gyan. जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीश तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत तुलित बलधामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी अब कुमत निवार सुमत के संगी bless me with strength Baba bless me with ज्ञान जय बजरंगी जय बजरंगी जय बजरंगी बली हनुमान bless me with strength Baba bless me with ज्ञान ओ जय बजरंगी बली हनुमान bless me with strength Baba bless me with ज्ञान Jai Hanuman Jai Jai Maruti I pray to you Baba as your humble devotee. Jai Hanuman, Jai Jai Maruti, I pray to you Baba as your humble devotee. You are my strength Baba, you are my pride. You are my strength Baba, you are my pride. Please oh Hanuman don't ever leave my side. Bless me with strength Baba, bless me with Gyan. Oh Jai Bajrangi, Jai Bajrangi, Jai Bajrangi Bali Hanuman. Bless me with strength Baba, bless me with Gyan. Oh Jai Bajrangi Bali Hanuman. Bless me with strength Baba, bless me with Gyan. I pray to you in the form of the great Panchmukhi. I beg you, Baba, destroy the evils around me. I pray to you in the form of the great Panchmukhi. I beg you, Baba, destroy the evils inside me. You are the master of this universe. You are the master of this universe. Wherever I go, I will always put you first. Bless me with strength, Baba, bless me with Gyan. Oh, Jai Bajrangi, Jai Bajrangi, Jai Bajrangi, Bali Hanuman. Bless me with strength, Baba, bless me with Gyan. Oh, Jai Bajrangi, Bali Hanuman. Bless me with strength, Baba, bless me with Gyan. Pavanatanai Sankatarana Mangala Murati Roop Ramalakan Sita Saita Hridaya Basau Surabu. Bless me with strength, Baba, bless me with Gyan. Bless me with strength, Baba, bless me with Gyan. Oh, Jai Bajrangi, Bali Hanuman. Jai Bajrangi, Bali Hanuman. Jai Bajrangi, Jai Bajrangi, Jai Bajrangi, Bali Hanuman. Bless me with strength, Baba, bless me with Gyan. Oh, Jai Bajrangi, Bali Hanuman. Bless me with strength, Baba, bless me with Gyan. Bless me with strength, Baba, bless me with Gyan. Bless me with strength, Baba, bless me with Gyan. Hare Ram, 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 Sita Ram, Ram, Ram. 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 Ram Ram Sita Ram, Ram Ram Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram Sita Ram, Ram Ram Sita Ram, Ram Ram Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram Sita Ram. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Hare Ram, 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 Sita Ram, Ram, Ram. Hare Ram, 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 Sita Ram, Ram, Ram. Hare Ram, 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 Sita Ram, Ram, Ram. Ram Ram Sita Ram, Ram Ram Sita Ram, Sita Ram Sita Ram, Ram Ram Sita Ram, Ram Ram Sita Ram, Ram Ram Sita Ram, Sita Ram Sita Ram, Ram Ram Sita Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram. Sita Ram, Ram Ram. Sita Ram, Ram Ram.
Om Shri Maha Ganapataye Namaha. This is